Let's begin from Bawku, where reports from that part of the country says 3 more persons have been killed in renewed clashes. The conflict, which has already claimed 2 lives and injured many, resulted in a curfew which is strictly being enforced by the military. This brings to 5 those killed in the renewed fighting. The Municipal Chief Executive of Bawku, Amadou Hamza, has shockingly revealed the situation in the area is deteriorating by the minute and every life in the area is in danger, including himself. We'll be taking you to Albert Sore, who is our man on the ground and has been monitoring all that is happening for us. He has a lot of information on this particular development, and he is joining us to bring us more of that. We'll also be speaking to a security analyst, Dr. Victor Doke, here on the show as well. So Dr. Victor Doke is on Zoom with us here. He's done some extensive work on the Bawku conflict. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. First off, what's your overview of what's happening in Bawku now?
My brother, Happy New Year to you. My personal view is that we have a very dire situation in our hands, because with these pockets of incidents whereby you have target killings and all of that, disturbances, cacophonous shootings and all that, with regards to what has been done in the past when militaries have been sent in, they've organized exercises, operations to retrieve arms, and still we're having these issues, then what I would say is this situation is out of hands, or the state institutions are responsible to or mandated to look at the resolution or professing solutions to it. Now, what we are looking at is the citizens in Bawku, the youths particularly, and especially from the 2 factions, have been emboldened by all what has been happening with regards to their issues not being addressed. Okay? You talk about unemployment. You talk about injustice. So when you have people from either side who have been arrested and then suspected to have perpetrated some crime, and later here they are released, what then comes into mind? Okay, so for example, you have Mampusi youths arrested and then found out they have been involved in some criminal activities and later released. Then it tells the Kusasi youths that, okay, well, there's injustice, so we can fight for our own. With the issue about proliferation of arms in Bawku, what has the effort been? I saw in a news outlet 5 months ago, there was an operation that was conducted by the military in view or with regards to retrieving arms. At the end of the report, I heard there were no arms retrieved at the end of the operation. So you ask yourself, so what really? Now, these youths have the weapons in the system that you cannot shy away from. Why then would you have these shootings, coming up day in and day out? These pocket instances will go on until we address the core issues. Okay, we are looking at injustice. We are looking at dissatisfaction of either sides. We are looking at people breaking the law with regards to a substantive chief there, and then going ahead to install another chief. All these, okay, are incidents that are fueling the Bawku conflict.
Okay.
One particular thing that I would also aspect of stakeholders, those who are behind the scenes, political actors who are contributing with, be it by their words, be it promises being made to their kinsmen of whatever they want to give to them if or whenever they win power or whatever. So until we get to the bottom of this situation will be protracted in as much as possible. We'll have more people being targeted. We'll have more atrocities, the violence we cannot control, and the security services will not even have any solution to it.
Okay. Now, it looks like there's a lot we have to talk about, but do stay with me. Let me bring in a man on the ground, Albert Sore, who has been covering this from the length and breadth of Bawku to really, put this in context for us. Albert, you've been all around Bawku to really understand what this really means. What have you been gathering on this matter since morning?
Yes, so one of the major things that happened today was a group of women who decided to march to the military base, which is very close to the Bawku town, to sort of peacefully protest the killings that took place yesterday. We're told that these are relatives of the 3 men who were killed allegedly by the military yesterday night. So they masked up, and they were making some noise, and they were chanting, saying that they didn't want the military to continue to be in the town. In fact, initially when we started hearing this story, it looked more serious than it later turned out to be. Okay. But what happened was that when they got to the premises of the military base, they were making noise. They surrounded one of the military vehicles, and I think 1 or 2 soldiers were standing by. There's a video which has been sent. It's not very clear, but this was what was happening. And so they had to fire some warning shots, and the women eventually dispersed. We're told that one of them, in the panic and the chaos, was taken to the hospital. She didn't sustain any injury, but this was something that took place in Bawku town today. Okay. Now, this is just to tell you that the people in the town are not happy about what happened yesterday, particularly with the issue involving the military and the killing of these young men in Sabongari. There are even fears that if care is not taken when it's curfew hours in the cover of the night, there could be shootings, as has always been the case. Remember, just on Wednesday when we lost those people who were shot at the tricycle station. The night of that day, there were a lot of shootings. So residents are hoping that the security will be upping that many people in Bawku, the civilians particularly, seem to have lost faith in the ability of the security apparatus and even the government to permanently clamp down on these shootings and these killings. And everybody who moves about their normal everyday activity, are doing so with a lot of tension, because Bawku has become a place where every corner of the town looks dangerous to people, because at any time people can fire guns and people can get killed and injured, and it seems that nobody ever gets punished for it.
Quite interesting. Now, you say that civilians have lost trust in the military or the security to protect them. Why did this trust get broken? What happened? What really led to where we are today?
So we can go back to the beginning of last year, around the same time, from the last Christmas, the Christmas before the one we just celebrated. We witnessed shootings like this, killings like this. In one of those shootings, we had an immigration officer who was killed, if you recall. There were other shootings in which the military again were accused of going into the town and killing civilians. There were reports, at least on 2 occasions, where people who were allegedly wearing military uniforms went into the homes of people and shot them. Now, I personally was on duty with the Regional Security Council on shortly after the military killings last year, when the RECSEC was visiting Bawku. And while we were there were shootings, even when the RECSEC was present in Bawku with the security patrols, soldiers all over the place, and people still had the courage to fire guns in the air, and people had to run helter-skelter and all of that. Now, the questions many people, many civilians are asking is whether indeed these people who are in the town are so powerful that the whole Ghana Armed Forces is incapable of clamping down on them and stopping them from what they are doing. And so these are the reasons that people feel. In fact, one of the opinion leaders, when we spoke to them last year, said that what the government was doing is using, to quote him, a firefighting approach to this security matter, because they only become up and doing when people are shot and killed. Then you see that they increase the number of security in the town. We talk about it like we are doing now for a number of days. And once things get calm, it's like everybody goes back to relax until people are killed all over again. And so these are some of the reasons why the ordinary person in Bawku doesn't seem to trust the security apparatus anymore.
But since, we'll listen to the MC shortly, but you've been nosing to really get us the back end story that many people might not be aware of. What is really the contributory factor to this conflict that doesn't seem to go away anytime soon?
Well, one of the reasons you get from people is that most of the killings in recent times seem now to be retaliatory in nature. Somebody gets killed, the members of his group feel that they must kill, or shoot at members of the other group in order to retaliate. And so for the last 2 years or so, it has been like this. Of course, the root cause has been the chieftaincy conflict, which we are told started way back in the 50s. But in recent times, if you follow the trend, normally when someone from one side gets shot at, it doesn't take long before you hear that shootings have occurred against the other side. So it seems to be, reprisal or retaliatory in nature.
Very, very interesting. Now, earlier we were told, just hold on for me, because the Municipal Chief Executive of Bawku, Amadou Hamza, himself has been speaking to Joy News, and he has shockingly revealed that the situation in the area is deteriorating by the minute, and every life in the area is in danger, including himself. Listen.
For the people of Bawku, and I must say so because a week will not pass when there will not be an incident in Bawku. As a municipal chief executive, as a representative of the President of the Republic of Ghana, it's a sad moment. Let me tell you about the recent happenings, some of the things that led to these casualties or whatever. Last week, I was in Bolga when I had a call. I think I was in a workshop trying to bring more projects to Bawku. And the call that came was that somebody has been gunned down in a place where we're doing the one district, one factory. The name of the area is Kolori. And in fact, when it happened, there were some few gunshots. The military and the police managed to calm down the situation. The day before yesterday, I came in Bolga when I was about wrapping up on Wednesday of the Soko projects. I had a call from residents that the place is bad. And I actually I contacted the military commander, I contacted also the police, the divisional commander, and all of them were very busy on the phone. Yes, indeed, 6 people were shot, 1 died at the spot, and later yesterday in the morning, the 17-year-old died. Now, this matter led to spirit gunshots. Was told that one other known Kusasi man, who is a lecturer and indeed a registrar at the Bolga Technical University, indeed is my good friend. Zuma Alasan is my very good friend from childhood. He His house was just very close to my house. Yes. And it was later that they had to move to Misiga Sabungari area to stay.
So
yes, indeed. Let me come. I want to give you the trajectory. What happened? Then that
unfortunately we do not have the luxury of time at this point. So we're hoping
that actually sparked of violence 2 nights ago. And so today in the night, I heard some gunshots just about 200 to 300 meters away from my house. There's a school known as Hassania Basic School. And the gunshots, when I heard it, it was later I started contacting the police commander and then the military commander. Nobody was answering until a few minutes later that the Major Ankama, who is the commander of the armed forces at Ilembe, told me what happened. I tried to inquire, okay, they were actually moving around trying to ensure that there's peace in town. And they accosted some 4 men who were exchanging gunfires at them.
Okay.
And he authorized his men to fire at them. Indeed, they fired at the guys. 1 managed to escape, and the other 3 were gunned down. And then their bodies were picked by the police to a hospital, a private hospital known as Vineyard. That is the report I got. That's exactly the report. And the incident happened just 200 to 300 meters away from my house.
Okay.
Indeed, I must tell you that there is no safe zone in Bawku. Even me as an MCE, where I reside, is a very dangerous area. My life also is in danger. It's not only the citizens of Bawku. Wherever you are staying, your life is in danger. And so, because of this development, I see it as the most dangerous conflict ever in the world. And there's a need for us to ensure that we put mechanisms that we can ensure that we bring lasting solutions to the people of Bawku.
Well, we know over the period a number of measures have been put in place. Security has been beefed up amongst others. But listening to you now, it appears it's all not worked over the period.
Not that it didn't work. I must tell you that this government has been very proactive as far as Bawku conflict is concerned. The government has been proactive in the sense that the government had done a lot of engagement. The Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee, led by myself and the regional minister, had engaged the factions in Bawku. 6 of them, of the membership, are Puch actives. 6 of the membership are non-Puches. 2 are Moshis. 2 are Hausas. 2 are Dagombe.
Well, Mr. Hamza, unfortunately, at least if these measures have yielded any results, you'll be talking about the fact that Bawku is the only conflict area, at least in the world now, like you talk about. But really, with the latest incident, at the last count, how many lives have been lost, you say?
The latest incident in the life within Bawku, I can tell you that 3 lives have been lost.
Okay.
Official reports are that 3 lives have been lost.
Okay, and how many persons are currently receiving attention in terms of...
5 persons are injured. 5 persons are injured, and they are in various hospitals in Bawku.
So that is the MC. Then I still have with me our man on the ground, Albert. Sorry, and then Dr. Doki as well. Albert, so you had the MC there. For those of us who are not in Bawku now, would be interested to understand what the situation is in Bawku at the moment as we speak. How's the place looking like?
One of the things you will find very curious about Bawku is that normally after incidents like this have occurred, people just come out and they continue their way of life. It's as if they become used to these shootings now. So normally when it happens, especially when the shooting is happening, people run and take cover. But by the next day, people come out and they go about their normal activity. So that is what is happening at the moment. But when you are present in the town, you can actually feel the apprehension, the fear that at any time at all, anything could happen. So at the moment, of course, calm has returned. We haven't had any unfortunate incident today, but you can tell that people are always
alert,
uneasy about what is happening, because at any time gunshots can be fired and you have to protect yourself.
Now, the head of MUSEC looks like, the situation is overwhelming. Do we know what RECSEG is doing to complement the effort of the MUSEC to ensure that, Bawku is quite safe for people to live in?
Well, normally, when things like this happen, they beef up the security, of course. And you learn from what happened yesterday that the military are on patrol. Sometimes, even when you are a civilian, you want to pass through Bawku to a place like, say, Pusiga, for instance. The military and the police are willing to give you escorts, if you go and ask for it. So these measures are there. What people don't understand is why the killings are still going on with all these measures that have been put in place. When you get to Bawku, in the middle of the town, there is an armored vehicle stationed, soldiers at various vantage points. You see men armed and all of that. At various vantage places, you find security people. But nonetheless, things like this continue to happen, and the people don't understand why this is the case.
Let me bring in Dr. Dokeda. Dr. Dokeda, so you heard from my colleague there saying that there is security presence in the town, but still people are being shot at, people are dying. Why is that happening?
Well, it's simple. You can have as much personnel on the ground as you want. Now, don't forget, these personnel may not necessarily be indigents of that town, so they don't know the in and outs of that town like they used to. Okay. Now, the other issue is that you have youth from these two factions who have communal weapons, personal weapons, are emboldened by elders in the town, and earlier what I mentioned as shadow stakeholders outside the town is fueling the conflict, be it contributions or whatever they can, okay? The reason for these issues is that there are factors that have not been looked at on either side. All of them have needs, wants, and interests, okay? What has the institutions, when I say institutions, I mean National Peace Council, the state itself, through the central and local government, what have they done to look at the issues presented by these two factions? I remember early 2000s, they had a consortium of NGOs that went to Kumasi, engaged the two factions, and came out with recommendations. What has come out with our recommendation? Can we boldly say that the recommendations have been implemented? I remember there was one, be it setting up an office or secretariat for the Ethnic Peace Committee, okay, and resource it, because this is a body that is mandated to look at the conflict and address it. It constitutes members or representatives from every ethnic group in Bawku. This committee has not been resourced. They need periodic capacity building with regards to conflict resolution so that they can address issues like the farmlands, issues related to festival celebrations, burials, and whatnot. Okay? Now, you would remember that there was a time when they were talking about the burial of the Opostic. That would signify the end of the conflict. The Mampusis came out and said it is not their culture. Fair enough. What have we done to get back to the Mampusis and say, if it's not your culture, what then would you be comfortable with to perform as traditional rites so we can bring the conflict to an end? We don't have the sustained engagements going in. So you have this, what we call, as people have said, firefight approach coming in every time. You're not looking at the structural measures, structural preventive measures, the creation of jobs, okay? Ensuring that there's justice, where people who have been found to be perpetrating crime, either in Bawku or outside, have been made to face the full rigors of the law. That hasn't happened. You understand? And we have one particular important dynamic that has changed the whole Bawku situation now. The 15th of February 2023 incident that happened in Narelugu, the installment of the gentleman Seidu as the Boko Haram. Where is his whereabouts? So you would expect that the Kusasis are on the watch out, on the lookout. Who is going to lead this gentleman into Boko? So you would have the youth on that side on edge, wanting to stop this gentleman from entering into Boko. That also has added to the existing dynamics which compounds the situation in Boko. And then let's look at how our security forces go in there, supposed to be neutral as much as possible. But then the situation turns around. And then you have, or you hear of the military shooting the youth and all that. That only serves as a conduit for these youths to even hate, one, the military more, and to even engage in reprisal attacks. Because then if you are targeting me and I can't come out openly to fight, then what I can do is secretly do it. So that's why we're going to have these reprisal attacks continuing, unless the issues involved, which is so easy to identify, get the right people in there, okay? You talked about music, you talked about Rexit. Have we built their capacity in terms of understanding the dynamics of Boko? It is not just about coming from the town or the capital. It is about knowing what it is that you have to deal with when it comes to conflict resolution. If I am a mediator or negotiator and I go in there wanting to bring a lasting solution to the issue, I don't go there with a stance already that I've had. I need to listen to these guys, know what they want at this particular moment, and then not forgetting the proximate factors that are existing, right? Any other issue that would add on or compound my process should be dealt with. Until then, we won't get anywhere.
Well, so the committee should be resourced enough to work, and that's government's work, right? That's government should ensure that is done.
Exactly. And we will have the National Peace Council, who is like a focal person for the committee. We have NGOs, okay, in Boko itself. For example, the Berlin Musa Development Agency Builder, okay, who have a seat. They are the peace-building facilitators within the committee. Let's resource all these NGOs for them to actively engage the sides. Then now we can come to the negotiating table and then we'll move forward. We sustain engagement. We cannot neglect the sustained engagement. We start a process and we leave it. We leave it, and then when the shootings happen, then we come back. So you start at square one. You don't get anywhere.
I mean, this is a disturbing situation, and so when we are talking about it, we need to get to the bottom of it. Who is not doing his or her work right that has resulted in Boko being in such a volatile situation all this while that we don't even know when it is ending?
When you talk about the role of the state, it's huge. The state has the capacity and mandate, one, to ensure the safety and peace of the people, properties, or whatever. So we would now have to look at what the state would have to do. The willpower of the state to push in resources, okay, and resources is in a wide area, and enforce or enhance the mandated bodies through which the state speaks. The National Peace Council is very, very essential. And when we get there, who are those who have been appointed or will be the lead negotiators or mediators when it comes to the conflict resolution? Okay? Now, we should ensure that these people have adequate capacity, training, and resources to go in there, engage with the BIPC, the committee, and then the committee will now relate to their respective ethnic groups. So when you are looking at it holistically, the willpower of the state is very necessary. So we have to call on the state. The civil society also have to come on board, add their voice. Let's present some kind of mechanism, framework for the state. Oh, this hasn't been done. We should look at it, and then we should follow through if we really want to solve the Bawku issue, and let's not forget it's a political season. You don't want the situation to be existing and you have armed groups infiltrating and taking advantage of the situation. Then you cannot control it.
And there's a likelihood of, terrorist groups taking advantage to infiltrate the area, right?
It's a conduit for armed groups to come in. You understand? On the part of the conflict parties themselves, if they feel that they would need assistance with regards to some armed groups coming in, perpetrating acts of violence, they will. It is so easy. This is a fertile ground for any armed group to operate. But we don't want that, and we cannot control it when that happens. So the states, CSOs, well-meaning Ghanaians, come in, let's have a framework and mechanism resolving the conflict once and for all. Let's look at the issues that have been left ajar, let's bring them back on board, tackle them one after the other.
All right, now we need to end this conversation, but in the next 30 seconds, if you can do this for me, I'll be happy. People are dying. We have the national security that is supposed to prevent some of these things from happening. What should they be doing to ensure that they are able to prevent some of these deaths?
The only thing for now is sensitization. Sensitization, awareness creation on the effect and impact of the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Bawku. Sensitize them to offer or bring out intelligence as to who they know is in possession of illegal arms, who are these kinsmen, stakeholders outside Accra, volunteer information, okay? Adhere to the rules and regulations if there's a curfew in place. The citizens, the youth have to respect the law. And the only way involve the chiefs, the elders as much as possible. This has not been looked at. So you have these government emissaries going in and doing their own thing and coming back. No. And then let's look at how we can also train or build capacity of the military to know how to handle some of these situations in conflict-prone areas like these, where the tensions are high. Then other than that, they will just be going about it, doing...
But of course, when it comes to internal security, it must be the police handling it.
Right, I forgot that. Now, the police is also essential. But when issues like this happen, they only mention the military. Okay. Are the police? Let's build the capacity of these two important institutions.
Okay.
They need a training. We would think that most of these men know how to address issues when it comes to a chieftaincy conflict, but they may not. So you need regular training, awareness, and then they will get to know how to handle the situation better. So you will see an improvement with their relationship with the youth in the town, especially. There's a way to coax these youths, okay, to become your friends, that you can tap information from them.
Okay.
But if we go in with a brute force, it will not solve anything.
Grateful to you, Dr. Victor Doke. He is with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. He has done extensive research on this Bawku situation. Albert, so, you are there. We hope that you are safe, but do you see any extra arrangement by the RECSEC or by security setup to ensure that no more deaths are recorded?
Well, apart from the security personnel on the ground, which is what we can physically see, the regional minister tells us that there's a lot happening behind the scene. He tells us that as human beings, they are also concerned about what is happening, and sometimes they don't even sleep because of what is happening. Okay. So if we are to take his word for it, we believe that there is a lot going on behind the scenes, besides the fact that the security apparatus are on the ground. And so hopefully we do not experience any more shooting in the coming.
All right. Thank you so much. Keep safe. Albert, sorry, he is our man on the ground there. Now, this is still the pulse here on the Joy News channel. Now, we were going to talk about something very interesting, a subject that borders on you and I, something that a lot of people have been complaining about, the mobile money fraud. Now, mobile money fraudsters continue to scam significant number of people, and they continue to fall victim to scams associated with mobile money. Now, just yesterday, we told you the story of how people are falling victims to various scam attacks. Now, this afternoon, we have with us MTN's head of Mobile Money Fraud Prevention Unit to help us all understand the risks, measures to avoid or fight them, and to win the war against Momo fraud. We have a special report on the situation for you shortly. First, though, let's tell you why we believe fraudsters are moving to the Momo space. If you look at what we've put together, it will tell you exactly, why fraudsters are moving. But just before that, let's bring back to you Michael Asher's report, taking a deep look into the problem.
Mobile money fraud has now become so pervasive. The motive is varied, but the bottom line is to get money from you. These deceptive schemes often commence with a seemingly ordinary text message, characterized by glaring grammatical errors. Spelling errors and poor construction in fraudulent messages might just be a deliberate strategy employed by cyber criminals.
When you see the bad spelling, it is not as if they can't spell.
Dr. Kenneth Ashiki, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, suggests that the use of poor grammatical constructions by the fraudsters is just an attempt to circumvent their new artificial intelligence-enabled system.
The confirm, maybe the R that is there, they will make it an S. They will change a few of the things in there so that once the AI is crawling it, he sees it, it's not what it is that he's looking for. So, but fortunately for us now, we're beginning to use AIs. So what the AIs do is that once they see all of this, they learn. So they start seeing the spelling mistakes that you want to beat them.
Other times, these fraudsters will call you with promises to lure you to send them money. Ohene Anoche was almost scammed weeks ago. He now knows the plot of these fraudsters very well.
No, they will just call you like normal call, and then he will say hello. So he will not even ask your name first. No, he will just say, "It is me, your auntie, who is in London." And then personally, I don't have any auntie in London. So I just said, which of my aunties in London? He said, "Oh, have you forgotten?" Then you mentioned some name. So I just said, no, I don't have any auntie in London. So. Yeah.
As unsuspecting individuals continue to fall victims to various schemes, the tactics employed by these fraudsters continue to evolve.
Someone will just call you and be like, when will I receive the money? Please, I've sent you this money. Can you confirm? And several calls of that, several calls.
They were asking me, when am I paying my debt? So I asked, with debt? And then he said the debt I was owing him. The way the person responded again and spoke with me again, I realized it was one of these fraudsters.
Like I deposit 1,000 cedis into my account. And the person I was calling me, I sent 250,000 cedis into my account.
So they have sent 250,000 cedis to your account?
To my account. I should withdraw it back to him. Now I went back to check my account and I noticed that, it was a lie. And I bossed up him by giving him some sense into his head.
Rose and Okwe have been victims of cyber fraud.
And when they called me, they said they've sent me some amount of 400 cedis. So I should check by dialing my PIN. So then I was very curious. My brother asked me not to do it, but I told him, being a good Samaritan, but I didn't know that maybe it's true or it's not true. But the moment I just dialed my PIN code, they just took the money. And later on, I called them to beg them that, please, the money was for something important. They should send the money back to me. But they refused. And I called MTN. MTN told me they would get back to me, but nothing.
The string number called me, then he was like, he sent me money, so I should check my account. But after that time, I didn't receive the money. So some few minutes later, the message came from MTN, like, it was MTN, like, if you receive money from MTN, but it was coming from a Tigo line. So but I was just suspicious, like, how will I receive?
The person introduced himself as a worker from a telecom company.
Yes, that he works at MTN and he sent the money to me. Then, all right, the message came all right as MTN, but it was coming from a Tigo line. So I started reading the message. I realized that there was spelling mistakes and all that from it. So I relaxed. And he called again that he sends me the money. I checked my account. I should check my account that instantly. And I was like, no, the message you sent was even wrong. And this is not how messages appear from MTN and all that. Then he was pressuring me. Then I should just check my account number. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm checking my account. Because of that, he got bored. They started insulting me. I just hung up.
Mobile money operators are not even spared.
They will tell you that they want to check, they want to help you with some difficulties that you are facing in the business. For me, they've been calling, but me, the moment you said I'm from MTN, I'll just end the call. I don't listen because MTN has only one number.
The modus operandi has, however, evolved over the years.
You know, like Tino Achebu would say, when the hunter learns to shoot without missing, the birds learn to fly without perching.
Now, they pose as agents of some of the mobile networks under the guise that you were a lucky winner of a draw.
I'm Linda Ofori. Our calls are recorded for education and training purposes. So for detailed understanding, are you okay with the English or should I speak to you in any local dialect?
Oh, but you are already communicating in English. Huh?
We are 28 years. Could you remember the number of years you've also been on a network with this very particular mobile number?
I think about 15 or so.
Okay, so you are very close. I'm going to remind you of the year you registered the SIM card. So, MTN, we thank you very much. We were asking all these questions to actually survey the network to know how good or bad it's performing.
From enticing phone calls promising rewards to posing as mobile network agents, the aim of the scammers is simple. Extract your personal information and use them to later impersonate you.
So we have a very nice package for you. And please, with the prices we have for you, have to visit the nearest MTN branch with your valid ID card, that is your Ghana card, to receive your package successfully.
Well, shortly we'll connect with our resource persons and hear from you as well. You can send us a message to 0244-638-629. So in case you have a question for our resource person, kindly do so. 0244-638-629. The number should be on your screens anytime soon. That it will be on your screen so that you can send us, your thought. Now, Isaac Kofi Ejay is a lead data analyst here. We want to show you why we think that MTN has become that target where every scammer would want to use that. Kofi Ejay, hi. Let's understand what's the data telling us.
I don't know if you can hear me. I mean, the mobile money fraud has actually increased, in a stratospheric manner over the years, where the number of cases keep increasing. And then also, if you look at the total amount involved in all of this fraud situation, the recovery has also slowed down. And we believe that the space is becoming attractive because of the huge volumes of transactions going on in the mobile money space. So I'll take you through data that was provided by the Bank of Ghana showing, the mobile money transactions over the years. So if you look at registered mobile money accounts over the years, cumulatively in the 10th month of last year, which is October 2023, we had reached 64 million active mobile money accounts, registered mobile money accounts. Out of this 64 registered mobile money accounts, about 22.1 million of them were active. And in terms of the total number of transactions, we had reached somewhere around 650 million transactions in a space of 10 months cumulatively. And what we believe is attracting people to target this space is the volume of transaction, which has reached 179.2 billion, Ghana cedis over the years in the 10th month of 2023. Now, if you compare the mobile money, the value of mobile money transactions to other,
similar means of transferring money or doing transactions, you could see mobile money is way ahead. So, for instance, in that same 10th month of 2023, you have mobile money transactions being around 179.2 billion Ghana cedis. Checks cleared within that same period could not come close to mobile money. It was around 25.8 billion Ghana cedis. E-Switch was around 2.1 billion Ghana cedis. GH Link, 56.4 million cedis. Direct, debits were around 5.9 million cedis. Credits cards were around 52 million Ghana cedis. Prepaid cards, 830,000 Ghana cedis. And internet banking was around 10.4 billion Ghana cedis. So you realize that in all of these figures that I've mentioned, mobile money is way ahead of them, and the volume of transaction as well as the value of transaction is significantly higher than E-Switch, than GH Link, than use of debit card, than use of credit cards, and even internet banking, which is currently around 10.4 billion cedis, as compared to mobile money of 179.2 billion Ghana cedis.
Interesting. Well, so that's Kofi Eje there with the data and why we think that people are targeting the Momo market to perpetrate fraud. Now, in the studio here with me today is Godwin Kwame Tamaklo, General Manager, Regulatory Risk and Compliance, Mobile Money Limited. And he's here with me. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for coming.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
How worried are you about all of these mobile money fraud that people do perpetrate on customers?
Very worried. You can't describe it, more especially knowing that I lead that division from our company. It's one thing that always keeps you thinking, even whilst in bed, as to how we can protect our cherished customers. So it's worrying. Yeah.
This started not today. It's been some time now.
That's right.
Why is it still persisting?
I mean, wheresoever finance has been, take into consideration even the banks. They've been here almost 100 years, and fraud within the banking space hadn't changed, because that is specifically what the fraudsters are after, money. So wherever the money is, they will go for it. So it has been with us for years, and it's still here with us. What we can do is to help work together as stakeholders, including our own cherished customers, to see how best we can manage such issues as we face them.
But I'm sure you've done, a bit of research into this to understand why is this still happening. We cannot really do anything about it. What is it telling you?
Oh, not that we are not doing anything about it, but just to put it in context as to why does it keep happening. One is the volume of funds you have on the platform in general, within the mobile money platform, with all service providers. It's increasing every day. And now, and today, maybe as of last December, you're having more than 19 billion Ghana cedis total on the platform.
Mobile money platform.
Mobile money total.
All of you.
All of us.
Okay.
And this had grown
billion.
Exactly. And this had grown from maybe 0 Ghana cedis as at the time we launched to this. So it's one thing that they are after. Again, is the weak link that they always seek within the chain as to who can we get to. Technically, can we hack the systems and pull the money ourselves, or can we maybe social engineer people to see how best we can get them? And day in, day out, we see that coming through as the issues more on the social engineering side, where our cherished customers, some way, somehow, fall victim to some of these issues that we keep drumming and educating people on. So basically, maybe the wins they are getting here and there also contribute to the fact that they want to still push. It's a whole enterprise for people. Just like you get up in the morning and you dress up and you pray to God, you're going to work to come. That is how some of them also work, as in, this is my enterprise, this is my business. I wake up in the morning and it's all about how do I, scam someone and get away with something that I had.
But I remember one of the reasons why the SIM card re-registration was necessary was so that we could deal with this kind of fraud.
Yes.
That's why I had to go and re-register my SIM card with my Ghana card.
Yes.
After we've done that, almost a year or so after, why are we still having this problem going on and we cannot arrest those behind it?
The SIM registration, from my perspective, from my understand, helps with the detection, investigation, and arrest. It doesn't prevent.
Okay.
As in, although we have done SIM registration and Godwin has gone to re-register his number, and I know I have his fingerprint and all those with NCA and NIA, it does not prevent the fraudster who thinks that Godwin has X amount of money on his wallet, and so I should initiate an attack against Godwin and see how successful I would be. So those, the typology, as in the fraud schemes, keep happening. But should it happen and affect a customer, then we go through the investigation processes with our stakeholders like Yoko, the Ghana police, and do the necessary arrest. The point is that maybe the victim is seeking that just when he reported, a day or two, you're able to arrest the person and then bring the money back to him or prosecute the person. Where the person says he lied, as data that you have, might not be where the person initiated the attack. So I could be living in Accra, I give you the data, I live in Accra, but in terms of our fraud network, I'm operating somewhere from the central region or from the northern region or from the Volta region. And so for that matter, then it takes time for you to do the investigation and then necessarily cause an arrest and then up to prosecution.
But isn't that easily detectable, that you can detect where I made the call from or where I initiated that scheme from?
Yes. So those are the signals that we pick. That is from even picking that one at a point in time does not necessarily give you where he is.
Okay.
You may have to do some trend analysis to see before the attack, after the attack, where are calls, where the person sleeps, proposed sleeping place, where he gets up in the morning. So there are things that you may have to connect as dots to be able to say, okay, most probably this is where these people are, and then you can launch your arrest process on that side. So it involves a lot of study and investigations, and sometimes it takes time. That is the truth.
How many people have you arrested so far?
So far, as in time, yes, it's been a lot. I can't put
well, let's limit ourselves to when we did the SIM card re-registration, because we knew that was going to help us fight it. So how many people have you arrested so far?
For just Accra, that I know of, about 10 people, and this involved groups. As in groups, we've worked with Yoko to make a swap of about 400 people.
Okay.
Just arrest of one leads us to the arrest of about 400 people.
Okay.
Right, and beyond. So numbers, I cannot put specific numbers on air just like that, but there's a whole lot of work that is being done by these law enforcement agencies in helping us arrest people.
So just to get it clear, you're saying that you've arrested about 10 groups, which is made up of a lot of people.
Exactly.
10 groups.
10
made up of a lot of people.
Yes.
So one group could have about how many people?
400. I mean, the last one that Yoko worked on, about 400 people.
One group had
yes, and they were in a room, right? A whole room, like a church place, where they set up, and that is where they sleep and work day in, day out. You have laptops and all those kind of things. There's some information we can't give on, So yes, I mean, behind the scenes, people are working.
Wow.
Yes, people.
Wow. So people set up offices.
Oh yes.
Like that. You have 400 people in there, and they're scamming people.
Right. Right, and that is where they sleep, and it's in batches.
Okay.
it's in batches, and you have cells in certain places. I can't mention it. You have cells in certain places, and you pick one person, and from your investigation or interaction with them, interrogation with them, you get to know it's from a particular cell, and you will know this cell operates from the Volta region, this part of Volta region, central region, this part of central region, and you're able to, move into for arrest. Yes.
So out of these people, how many have we successfully prosecuted and jailed?
I don't have the number of.
You don't? Okay. All right then. Now, some of you also sent in some questions to us who would bring that up so that we can get answers for now. This one from Patrick in English, Amanfro. He says, every time I report that I have wrongfully sent money to someone, they tell me they are working on it. Please, why is it hard for you people to return my own money to me? Why?
Wrongly sending money to someone has different implications, which we need to understand whether really that transaction was wrongfully made before we do a reversal. You will have instances, and permit me to give an example of somebody who will go to church, right, and make a sacrifice or offering, whatever they call it, and then just after church will call back and said, I made a wrong transfer to a church's account, some way, somehow. And then we need to go to the church and gauge, do you know this person? Is he a member? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this man is a member. He promised this amount of money during their harvest, and he made the payment today, and this is the receipt. So if you just, based on the complainant's words, and you proceed to do a reversal, then you know there's a problem. You have somebody who had gone to a carpenter, went to somebody's place, and did whatever they were supposed to do. He says, I'm finished. The person pays 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now he come back home and he realized that what he requested isn't what the carpenter had made, to the best of his knowledge. And then he calls and he's asking for a reversal. You need to now understand what actually happened. And then later you get to know, look, he just want to take his money back because maybe the carpenter didn't do something well, which he could have just gotten in touch with the carpenter and asked him to come. So it involves engaging the other party involved to understand really what happened before. So normally it takes between 5 to 15 days for us to do such reversal, unless there is a dispute. I send it, it is mine, it is not mine, and then that goes some days further for us to do investigation to understand where we can place this before we do a reversal. So, my brother, it's unfortunate that it's a bit worrying, but we need to do the right thing so that we put things in place to ensure that both the recipient and the sender are happy about our services.
Okay, all right. I remember once it happened to me. We were doing a fundraising, someone sent money. I saw a message from MTN saying that the person says you have to, take it back, was wrong.
Right.
They called me and I called the person and said, oh, no, you're not the one I was referring to. So it was a wrong indication. Well, that's fine. Another person sent us a message, so we'll get that up. Atukwe in Teshi says, immediately I received money from a friend. A fraudster called me. I didn't know at the time. He said the money was sent to me wrongfully. I didn't understand then. He asked, at least I checked my account. I checked. A few minutes later, all my money was withdrawn. How did they know I had received money? I was going to ask that. I think there is an insider in the telcos. Again, how did they get my PIN? Because I didn't mention it to them. This is interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But very simple to understand.
Okay.
One, you see, we have millions of transactions going on our platform on a daily basis. It is just not possible for an individual just to be looking at with your eye manually the millions of transactions. These are per second or per millisecond, because it's real time transaction to say somebody is sitting behind watching it and see that there's a transaction to A, B, or C, and so calls. What happens is that before they initiate a call to you, they have worked on you and are working on you. As in, somebody would have just run the numbers using macro Excel. Any university degree or SSS can do it, which they do. So they run the numbers, and then another group will pick these numbers and then start checking. You see, if you want to send money to someone from our platform, when you are asked to enter the PIN, the name of the person comes. And then they pick that name, they put it down. And another group works on the balance. Now, how do they get the balance or closely to the balance? So they initiate, they might have agent wallet and initiate as if they want to do a cash out or a payment, a POS payment. They'll do 1,999 Ghana cedis, 998 Ghana cedis. So that is somebody's work. So when they trigger and there's no response to them, then they know you have something around the value they wanted to keep.
Okay.
Right. So it's like me doing a cash out. If I have 1,000 and you initiate a cash out of 2,000, the transaction fails.
Yeah.
So I'll see that no, this guy doesn't have the amount I'm initiating.
Okay.
So I do 1,000, it fails. I do 999, it fails. I do 998, it fails. Like that, so maybe you get it to 900 and it goes through and it doesn't receive anything. Then the idea is this guy might be having at least up to 900 Ghana cedis in his wallet. Then the attack is initiated.
Oh, so they have a system to see my balance.
Not to see, but to guess.
To guess it.
Exactly. And these are POS or agent account. As you go to do your cash out, the agent initiates a transaction.
Yes.
And then you have a pop-up message.
Yeah.
Now, if the money in your wallet is less than what the agent was initiating for, that transaction would have failed. And then they will know that it doesn't have that much.
So they are using agent numbers to do that.
Agent and POSs. And now this one is basically the POS one, where before they call you, they would have initiated a kind of a payment call to you. And so when you pick your call, you are speaking with them, and then they ask you, you check your account. In checking your account, you will be initiating or inputting your PIN.
Okay.
But then the pop-up message would have come on your PIN whilst you were answering the call. So by that, just going back and then dialing and initiating, entering your PIN, their pop-up message might be the one you are entering the PIN in. And they end up moving the money because their pop-up was to make a withdrawal or a payment, and then you entered.
But this
you
one,
might be thinking that I was initiating the transaction to check just my balance. But there is a pop-up message that had come on top of what you were initiating. And most of the times we don't read, what the pop-up message is saying. We don't read as to whether it was the check balance you were checking
or something else.
Something else have come up, and then you enter your PIN and the money is gone. So basic, he cannot ask you to check your PIN in whatever it is. There is no law that forces you to respond to what they want you to do. So you take your time. I will check. And if I confirm that you've truly sent me money, I will get MTN to do it for you. Then you take your time and call MTN to confirm what they have said, that somebody have sent you money, whether it is true or not. Can they confirm the amount of money that they send? Because guess what? They can send 1.00, and if you don't take time, they will tell you that they send you 100 Ghana cedis. They will actually send you 1 Ghana cedis, and you receive the SMS, which is from us, a true transaction, 1 Ghana cedis. Then they call you saying they send you 100 Ghana cedis. 100 is in your mind. When you check the notification, you might be saying, oh, it is 100 Ghana cedis, and you might initiate a 100 Ghana cedis transaction back to you. So take your time and let MTN or any service provider whose platform was used to call you, to do the checks for you, confirm it before you take any decision. Don't in any way hurry to say you are responding because the person called. And disturbing you with calls all the time.
But this guy's question says,
yeah,
my friend sent me money. Immediately, I had a call from them.
Yes.
So how were they able to tell immediately
Yes.
when someone sent me money that, yeah?
That is why I said initially that before they call you, they are working on you or they've worked on you.
So you're saying
somebody
it would be a case of mere coincidence?
No, it's not. I wouldn't say it could be mere coincidence. It could also be that in the process where I was doing the test to see whether it was 1,000 Ghana cedis or 900. I did 1,000, it failed. Now I'm doing 900 and it goes through. Now I do 1,001, it goes through. This guy has something more. Can we call? So it's a whole setup where division, or if you want to see division of labor, this is what they call division of labor, where you have sales group of people who are just working on these things every now and then to the next day, and then another group comes in like that. So people will say, why this, why that, why that? They don't just get up and call you. They would have worked on the number, this number we want to call today, attack today, maybe for 2-3 days before even calling.
It's very, very interesting. Anyway, we're still learning. So let me bring another question. Philip in Cape Coast says, I'm a victim of this Momo fraud, and my major problem is the MTN customer service line 100, which doesn't allow customers to contact service agent to confirm some transactions at the instant.
Well, it could be that there are people on the line. I mean, 100 we don't charge, and once you call and you have probably patience, because there will be other people on the line to call. But apart from the 100, you could visit the service center. You could send even a text. You could send a text.
To which number?
Or what the *170 that we use, right? You could dial the *170 and go to fraud report and at least send a text and say, this is what had happened, I need confirmation. And somebody from our side will take a look and then get back to you.
How many people know that?
These are channels that we always talk about as to how to contact us.
*170
*170. Just the normal channel that you use for transactions.
Which number is that?
It's our normal, for example, for MTN, that's the normal channel for transactions.
I get it.
So
The *170.
Then you go to option 6,
okay,
which is the wallet, and then you have, option 6, you have fraud report in one of them. Then you select that one, and they'll ask you which number called you, whatever it is. You input all those information and then you send. So either the 100, or you visit our service center, or you do the *170 to report, or you even send a mail if you are somebody who can send a mail. Yes.
And your email addresses?
You can send it to mmfraudteamgh at mtn.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have more questions here. You can send yours to 0244 638 629. 0244 638 629. Now, Joshua says, please, why should the fraudsters have a different number? Aren't their numbers registered with any ID? Why can't the telecommunication companies fish them out and block their numbers?
All right. So in terms of numbers, I'm not too sure the different number he's talking about.
I'm sure probably, he brought in the ID.
Yes.
Why are you not able to say that maybe this number is Samuel Kojo Brace's number?
Yes.
Yeah. Why can't the telecoms fish them out and block?
We're able to pick. I mean, blocking is the easiest of all the issues around investigation, because once you call, the law requires that if there's any suspicion on a particular account, we should block it and prevent any transaction from going through. But sometimes blocking the account at a particular instance also gives a tip-off. Right? So sometimes as part of our investigation, we will suspend just to allow partial transaction. Money can come into that particular person's wallet but cannot withdraw. So that you don't give a tip-off as in he cannot do any transaction with it, and then he realized that, this has been done, and so then I have to look for another means. So yes, we do the blocking. We are able to identify Godwin Kwame Tamaklo. These are the numbers. What's even interesting is that with your ID card, we are able to see all the other SIM cards you've registered and linked to that particular number. And all of them, we are able to block it, yes.
Oh, interesting. You can also send in your question, and then we'll ask Mr. Godwin for you. Now, this one says, these fraudsters have tormented me several times, almost on a weekly basis. Now, in November 2023, one of them called me, and when he realized that I had recognized his motive, he threatened me. Quote, "You think you are wise, eh? I'll still chop your money." Funny thing is, I didn't have money in that moment. Andy from Bolga brought this one in. Okay, someone when you catch them, really they threaten you. You know, sometimes they even insult you. You know, but after all, I've caught your motive, so that's fine. So you are saying that. I mean, I'm interested in the numbers you saw in there. That a cell has about 400 people. What's the largest number you've seen in a cell?
To the best of my knowledge, that one.
400.
Yeah. That was that instant when they were arrested. They were there. But you have in the central region one undercover work that we did were 2018, 2017. They are batches. So they come for a week, and another batch comes for a week from Accra, Kumasi, some other places, Takrady, and then they converge. Central region, I don't want to mention the name of the area, and they work so Monday to Friday, and they will leave. Another group will come for the weekend. They will also leave. Another group will come on Monday. So you could go do arrest, and probably you might end up just arresting that particular batch. But there might be more.
Wow. Interesting. So are you winning the fight against these fraudsters?
That's a very slick question. Are we winning the fight? I think it's not about winning or losing, but we are doing as much as possible what we can. There's more also to do, but we are doing as much as possible from our side as service providers to ensure that our customers are, protected. But then you have other responsibilities on the customer, other responsibility as stakeholders, because it's a multifaceted way of fighting. Just one person fighting it. So the issue of we coming together as service provider within the ecosystem to work together is also very important for us to be able to get there. So for instance, today, we currently don't have any governance around should somebody defraud me on X service provider's platform, can they send a request that the X will block that account, right? They defrauded me, for example, on MTN, and it was pushed to maybe Vodafone or AT or G-Money, and then you request whether they can also block, but it sits in their domain as to whether to decide to block or not. So in terms of governance, that will help us work together and not just, working in silos to fight it is so much important that we get that one done to be able to, bring this issue down. Same way with banks. Today, the SIM card is not just a medium for calls, nor even just your payment transaction. It is also an access to your bank account because others have linked it to your bank account. Yeah. So it is also a way of bringing the banks, into the discussion and see how we all within the ecosystem can contribute towards the fight of fraud in Ghana.
Okay, so you're saying that it goes beyond MTN.
It goes beyond just one party, not even just mentioning MTN. It goes beyond just one party. One party cannot just stand up and say, you might protect yourself like you can protect your platform, but the platform are interconnected. And that is what even makes it quick for money to move. He defrauds you on MTN, he pushes it to ZPay or pushes it to Vodafone, he cash it out somewhere, puts it here, and today there's even crypto, although it's not legalized or licensed. People defraud people and quickly they push it into crypto, get the crypto, and then go and then change it somewhere else, and then they take the money away. So it's interconnected, and we need to fight it as a unit than working on it silos.
What's the role of government in here?
I mean, basically, some time ago, the regulator had indicated to build some kind of a data, a database where these fraudsters and agents and stuff will be in, so that you have a centralized point where those things, could be also managed from there. But gradually, I mean, we hope that that will be done as soon as possible. And from other stakeholders like the court, speedy
adjudication of those issues.
So from our side, what we've done in the past and will continue to do is build capacity. For example, our law enforcement agencies like YOCO and the Ghana Police, and also we do for the judicial service. So they understand our service and they understand the fraud typology, so that if somebody is before them and then arguing around a particular case, they have a context within which this happens and will be able to help us put these people behind bars ASAP.
All right. Let's just take our last question from our viewers, and then we'll come into this. Mrs. Derry says, I believe MTN should keep an eye on some of their workers, because I always wonder why these fraudsters have easy access to our numbers. My husband bought me a merchant SIM, and we received a call from these fraudsters the following day. How possible?
It's possible. As I said,
How so?
Numbers are easily generated. Our numbers, they are easily generated. If I pick your number, let's take that your number is 0244 100. The next one is 0244 101, 0244 102, 0244 103. So those numbers are run down and they have it on Excel. And then they try working on it. If it's not activated, put it somewhere. If it is something, if it doesn't have Momo, put it somewhere. So they'll be running on these things, and you need to see it to understand the process I'm talking about, so that some of these things wouldn't be surprising to you. So that once a number is activated, you buy your SIM card and it's something that they've worked on, they will try to initiate an attack ASAP to see whether you have money in it or not.
But I guess when someone, this one, I mean, the next, we are saying that if they got to know that the merchant number was, say, 02053 something to maybe 200, they are sitting there and then trying to change. So 05 blah blah 201, 202, and then it fell to this woman's line.
They don't even know whether it's a merchant subscriber agent.
Oh, they are just calling.
It's just numbers that they have, and then they are calling, to see. And again, the way they initiate, the transaction. For example, there are some transactions that are limited. So if it's an agent to agent, you can't do payment, you can cash out. So they understand some of these things and be able to identify, this is a subscriber line, or this is an agent line, or this is a merchant line. But when they run the macros of their numbers, it's not something they know whether this is a merchant or
interesting. But when I call, you're able to know that I'm calling. Isn't that the case? Why are you not able to know that this fraudster is calling Kojo, is calling Amma, and that we have to put a spotlight on this number?
One thing is that we don't listen to calls when the call is ongoing. That's against the law. Right. So when you initiate a call, it's a normal call that is coming through to a customer. What happens during that conversation? Don't listen to it. So it's difficult for you to block a particular call when the conversation is ongoing. But then, should somebody report a case to us, then those are things that we're able to pick. How many SMS is this person sending? Those ones we do have some filters that will be able to pick alerts that this number is using as a channel of attack because he's sending more SMSs than usual. Okay. And then you go to see some of the SMSs and you're like, no, this is an attack and you can block. So those ones here, but if it's voice, we don't listen to what is happening in terms of voice calls.
You seem to easily exonerate your staff from wrongdoing. You think that they're not complicit in this?
No. No, that's a wrong perception.
Okay.
That's a wrong perception. I can tell you where our staff are found to be culpable in any of these fraud cases, they are picked up by the police or Yoko. And some of them have been jailed. Some of them internally, if it's not something a civil or criminal, but it's administratively, it's against the courts, you are fired. You know, so no one should ever think that MTN specifically we go soft on our staff. If you fall prey to some of these things, you are gone or you find yourself behind bars.
So some of your staff have been complicit in these operations.
Yes, and they've been arrested.
So they are the reason why these fraudsters.
No, they are not.
No. I mean, they are the reason why these fraudsters have been able to, you know, get a formula to then go about random calling of numbers to
No, not necessarily. You know, not necessarily. A fraud typology could be developed by somebody. As if I do A, B, C, D, I can try and see if I can get this person or not. It doesn't matter whether somebody's from MTN is part of it or not. You get what I'm saying? So it is their way. Can we do this way? And then tomorrow they try it, they change it. And so you will see that the fraud typologies, the social engineering fraud typologies had evolved over. At first, it used to be Antio London. That one is gone. Other ones had come. So it's just their ingenuity trying to see how best they can, not necessarily because there's somebody in MTN.
Okay.
But do we have, you know, in Chi we say Ephibia means that kind of thing. And so, but if you are found culpable, our management, you know, don't take kindly to some of
these. How many of your workers have you picked up?
Oh,
and how many have been sacked?
I can't give, but a lot have been sacked, but I can't give you
close to 200.
Not because of fraud anyway.
No, we're talking about
those that are fraud.
We're talking about fraud.
No, I can't give you numbers. I can't give you, unless maybe my HR is able to tell you how many have been fired, but I can't give you numbers.
Okay. All right.
But I can tell you on authority, if somebody does something wrong, he's punished.
Mr. Godwin Tawaku, I'm grateful that you came through.
Thank you.
And we hope that you are able. You keep on doing what you're doing to protect us, your customers.
Yeah, we also need your support in listening to the small advice we give, the education we are giving. Don't do this, don't do that. Just abide by them and you'll be safe.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Now, there's growing pressure on government to suspend the collection of levies into the COVID-19 recovery levy into a special fund that will help the country prepare for health emergencies. Now, we'll bring you details of the story and more after this break. Now, how about changing hospitals and your new doctor not having to ask you about your medical history or receiving prescription from your doctor only to get to the pharmacy to know that the pharmacist is already aware and has prepared your medications in advance? Or visiting the lab to realize your lab scientist or technician has already received the doctor's request and are prepared for your test. That and more is what UK-based tech giant MedTech Solutions is working to introduce to Ghana's healthcare landscape. But don't take my word for it. Let's get them and their partners in Ghana to help us understand how this will change healthcare delivery in Ghana. And I'm already excited by this. Now, in studio with me to share this excitement with you is Dr. Jean Araba Yankson Insia. And I have a story to tell about this lady's mother, but I'll talk about it later. Occupational health physician, and she's executive director for Scope Plus Group. They are based in Tema. Also in the studio is Isabel Ugochukwu. Okay, so she pronounced it well, so I had to take my time to get it right. She's CEO of MedTech Solutions. Ladies, hi, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope all is well. Now, this is such a groundbreaking thing for me to hear, that I'll no longer have to go and sit in front of my doctor in Grand Quanta, for example, where I'm from, and tell him, oh, doc, hi, I'm here. The doctor already is aware. I mean, how is this going to work? Just share a bit of it with us.
All right, thanks for having us. So essentially, I work with Scope Plus Group, which is an info solutions-based occupational health company. So what we do is we manage employee health, and we are an indigenous company. Now, we use technology to manage employee health, and we have found that it has become so valuable in providing efficient services. And so we are collaborating with our partners, MedTech Solutions in the UK, to make sure that technology is spread across the healthcare landscape in Ghana. So the whole point of what we are trying to do is to make sure that healthcare becomes more efficient, becomes digitalized, and is able to conform with global standards. We are trying to ensure that the Ghanaian patient is at the receiving end of the best quality care in a safe, secure, digitalized manner. So at this point, Isabel is going to tell us about how exactly we are going to break this down and make sure that the Ghanaian patient becomes the biggest beneficiary of this innovative healthcare solution.
Okay, wonderful. Isabel, the ball is in your court. So let's understand how it's going to be.
So what we are creating is a house with several windows, right? Inside the house is a digital ecosystem. The patient has an app, the health professional has an app, the health establishment has an app. The government can see anonymized, aggregated, national level data that enables them to more effectively go about with the health initiatives. And this means that the patients can take control of their health in partnership with their health professional in a way like never before.
Well, so, I mean, do we even have the idea of probably when this is, I mean, to do a test run, because I'm sure you're going to start from somewhere.
Yes.
Before you can do a large-scale rollout.
Yes. So this is what brings us to Ghana, and tonight we're hosting a networking dinner with stakeholders in the industry, and we've got government, IGO, NGO, hospital owners, managers, health professionals, and then tomorrow we're having an all-day workshop to really dive in and do breakout sessions with them and really understand in order to really tailor the product so that the market fit is really great. And so we're looking to then start the rollout in the latter part of this year and onboard several health facilities one at a time. And then their patients will get an app, they can follow their own medical records, and then the health professionals working with them will have an app that they can do their work with, whether they're based in a hospital or even remote, and then afterwards it will upload onto the system.
Oh, so there's going to be an app?
Yes.
Which means that not everybody can be part then, because what about my grandmother in the village? Who
I've got an answer for that. So because generally in more rural places, there will be one person who has a smartphone per family, within the application, you will be able to create profiles for yourself, your partner, your elderly parents, dependents, your children. And that means that the profiles of all your family can be on the one space. And then the custodian of the phone will then be the person who will then accompany that family member to the health professional, to the establishment.
Okay. So there won't be a way, for example, that if I don't have a phone that can help me get access to an app, there's no USSD code or something that can also work.
So there is, and that'll be tied into the payment section. So even if you don't have a phone today, you can access it on a web portal through someone can help you. You can get printouts. You can have things sent to an email. So there's lots of different ways to be able to enable every member of a family to really grasp the benefits that come with this application.
This is interesting, but obviously it has to do with tech. You're using internet and all of that, so someone has to pay. Who's paying? The client or the patient or who?
So the health establishments will be obviously subscribing, and then we will be providing at the national and international level anonymized aggregated data. So for example, the government will have a dashboard which will offer, and they'll be able to see gender, age range, region. That's it. So we'll be able to know how many births, how many deaths. They'll be able to see, there's so many people with an illness in this region that's higher, and using data analytics we'll be able to compare what's beyond the norm and really give you real-time view of what's happening across the healthcare landscape. And obviously for IGOs and NGOs, that information is important too, because then it enables them to tailor their healthcare initiatives and distribute their resources in a more equitable way based on where the real need is. Whereas right now, a lot of the data going up is very manual, it's very hit and miss, and there's no technological infrastructure that allows what they actually need today. So that's why we're coming with that.
So it means that this will serve more than one purpose.
Yes.
It's going to help us really determine the numbers of people who are suffering from certain kind of illnesses.
Exactly. Vaccination uptakes, births, male births, female births, and so on and so forth. So whereas maybe before resources for healthcare would have been distributed based on population ratio, now you'll be able to see actually the need is greatest in this place, whereas we wouldn't have seen that before.
Okay. I don't know why I'm excited already, but you tell me and those who are watching, why is this so crucial and important to healthcare delivery in this country?
The reason why we are super excited about this innovation is because, one, it's going to bridge the data gap that we have. The truth is you can't take decisions if you don't have data. If you don't know the state of health of your population, then it's difficult to actually take decisions that are going to revolutionize how your population's health status is. And so the data analytics part of this seriously excites us. We also want to be able to predict. So it's not good enough to know that 50% of the people who walk into your OPD are hypertensive. You need to be able to predict that in the next 2 years, what kind of numbers am I expecting? And so it's so important to us because we see that this gives Ghana an opportunity to be at the forefront of health tech. This isn't being done anywhere else in the world.
Really?
We are going beyond Ghana with this, and Ghana is sort of our first stop for us to really get interactions with the stakeholders here. This is for us. Even though our partners are from the UK, we see it as a homegrown solution. That's why we are here, to interact directly with the stakeholders. Let them tell us what is their ideal healthcare system. What do they want to see? So that when this thing rolls out, we are all on board.
It's exciting to hear. I mean, the country being able to foretell how the health status of the people will be in the next 2 years, 3 years, it informs even policy. So I guess then it's something that we're going to tap on. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's benefits for the economy, right? When people have better and more equitable access to healthcare and healthcare management, when they feel like they're also in the driving seat and partnering with their local hospital and their local health practitioners, they become more invested in their own health. And that then leads in turn to the healthcare improving. A healthier workforce is a more productive workforce, is more money for the economy, and that will generate investment into the country. And so that there's definitely much downstream positive impact that this could have on the country.
I mean, you're saying that Ghana is the first country to have this. Why this decision? Why is Ghana the first country, not anywhere else, but here?
Right. So tell you what, we've been working on this for quite a while, and there has been a lot of engagement in the background. And we realized from our preliminary engagement that this environment is ready for this. We have some systems in place, but they don't solve all our tech problems in healthcare. And the feedback we are getting from the various stakeholders, the private facilities association, the state agencies, the NGOs, look, people are ready for this, people are interested in this. They are so excited about our program, which is happening tonight, and tomorrow morning, that's when we are having the brainstorming session. People have signed up and are ready to come and share their ideas on what they want to see. Ghana is a fertile land for technology. We are already doing a bit all over the country. I know we are using tech with, the zipline deliveries and things like that. And so this country already is on a roadmap to success when it comes to medical technology. It's the right place to start, and we know that at the end of our 2-day program, we are ready to zoom and launch ahead and to innovate and bring this product on board by the end of the year.
Interesting. Exciting news for all of us here that soon you'll be able to, even if you're a policymaker, for example, you'll be able to tell that in the next 3 years, my country is going to have more obese patients, and therefore this is the sort of thing that a country needs to do, and it'll help really policymakers, for example, and you, because when you go to your doctor, before you even say, your doctor is aware of what's wrong with you. That's it, right?
That's it.
Where will it begin? For example, use me as an example. Maybe I go to my hospital, let's say Kolebu. How do you start to ensure that the doctor in my hometown, Agunankwanta or Buzia or Discove, is aware that, well, this is what is wrong with Kojo Bray, so before I get to him, he knows?
So if you already have an existing condition, you would have had a referral. And so the referral would have come from another health practitioner, another doctor, you know, and that will link you to that other doctor. And so, but if you're coming green, you can choose which hospital you can search, you can choose by a function of what they offer. Then
on the app.
Yes, and the actively licensed health practitioner will be registered when we onboard the health facility. So the health facility will say, we've got X doctors, midwives, nurses, etc. And so you will see, you can have remote consultations if you can't make it. For example, your elderly parents who live in a more rural place, you can take your phone. They'll have remote consultations if they can't make it. If you can, you go. And it matches using near-field technology. So then your doctor creates the record. It's confidential between you and your doctor. No one else sees that. And what goes up to the health establishment is not your records. It's the information that they need to run the hospital. So the only person that has view access is you. Your doctor has edit access. And even if they then edit it afterwards, you will get a notification to tell you what they've edited. So it's a level of accountability, transparency, that we've never had before. And it's super exciting.
But then it brings up one thing. This is confidential.
Yes.
But this is also technology. You know how people can manipulate technology and get access to information.
Yes.
What's the assurance that my information is protected?
So the assurance is that we're going to be using blockchain technology to anonymize in a gated way that is irreversible the anonymization of your confidential information. So once it's gone past you and your doctor, no one will know who you are. Your name will be scrubbed out. So the health facility will know we've got X patients, X amount of illnesses, X amount of incidences of this, but they will not be able to trace back to who you are, even the hospital. And then when it goes up further, it's then further anonymized. So then your age will become part of an age range. That you can't go back. So when there's a leak, it'll be you or your doctor. And even if, for example, you have a cardiac situation and you see this doctor, and then tomorrow you have an orthopedic situation, because the two incidences are not linked, neither those doctors will see each other's records. They will only see each other's records if, for example, in a woman's case, she's pregnant and she has a cardiac preeclampsia, and then maybe, you know, something else, and then the two are related to the pregnancy. That will then give all the healthcare professionals looking after her in that context access to those. But only the one who created it has edit access. All the others is view. And so we've really thought this out. We spent a lot of time with the stakeholders drilling through everything. And I think what's really important to mention is that one of the co-founders of the organization is a consultant, right, in the UK. Seasoned medical expert, and you know he's dealt with compliance, data compliance, personal medical information compliance regulations, and things like that. And the reason why we chose to seat the organization in the UK is to make sure that we sound the message that, you know, ISO 27001, GDPR, we are really taking the regulations seriously, because that's our business. Our business is to create a patient-centric platform. If you don't trust it, there's no point. So your trust as a patient is paramount to us. And the buy-in of the health practitioners as, you know, users, and of the health establishments as customers is paramount. And you know, for us to have the encouragement and support of governments and IGOs and NGOs as, yes, you're enabling us to do our business better, to change our lives, to impact, to raise and influence whole countries and economies. That's really important for us, and really every stakeholder in the ecosystem. So for us, doctors are not more important than patients. You know, we're speaking to everyone with the same level of, we are interested in you, we want you to engage with us, so that we can build you a solution that's really fit for purpose.
Right. Sounds good. But if the doctor at the other end does not know that it's me, Kojo Brace, how will he know that I'm the one whose information is in front of him?
Because when you arrive, so you book an appointment, if you walk in, you can use near-field technology. So the same way you use Bluetooth to find out what's near, he has, his or she has their app, you have your app, and it'll be like, oh, I'm near, I'm seeing Dr. This, I agree, consent, open my records to him.
Oh, okay, get it then.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, your final words, just before we wrap up this conversation.
Right, just to say that Ghana is ripe for technology in medicine. We are excited about what's going on. and we are calling on all the stakeholders who are partnering with us, coming in tonight and tomorrow to come in, share their ideas. Let's all get on board. Let's get this working. And at the end of the day, the biggest beneficiaries are the Ghanaian people. The patient is at the center of it all, and the future is now. So let's get on board.
All right. Isabel.
Yes, very, very excited. Really, really looking forward to tonight and tomorrow. Really looking forward to this having actual real impact. And I think the look you have in your eyes that I see whenever we tell someone about this, and their eyes light up when they understand the power that this has to transform an entire country, communities, regions, cities. And so really, really excited. This is my first of many trips to Ghana, and I hope to become a Ghanaian by proxy very soon. I might need a Ghanaian name.
Yeah, we'll give you one. I mean, you're Isabel Ugo.
Yeah, I was born on a Monday. Does that
Ajua, good. You got a good day.
Great.
Because I was born on a Monday as well. So we'll click already.
Fantastic.
All right, so that's Dr. Jean Nyankson. She is an occupational health physician and executive director of Scope Plus Group, and Isabel Ugochukwu. Ajua Ugochukwu is with MedTech Solutions. All right, ladies, thank you so much for passing through.
Thank you very much.
There's a still pause. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us.